Hey guys, do another combo video on WIMI and APM. Um, Probably the first day in a while where I just mostly shorted. Um, Even though I missed the long and APM and market open, it was actually pretty nice, but I was too busy watching WIMI. Um, so this was pretty interesting. Uh, had a pretty possibly bullish market open structure here with this high day clear out, quick dump. We've seen these quick dumps after high day clear outs be bullish, and then we also had a little pop right before market open, which you can think is a potential long trap, but I was waiting to see if this was a possible lower high. I mean, market open longs have just been working, so I just been tending to think that a lot of these lower highs before market open are strong. Um, and then the market open long is really dependent on market open volume. And this immediately traded a million shares out the gate. So I'm like, okay, as lower high paint, as a quick pullback from from high day, um, this could be really strong. And I was actually looking at these bids down here, and I was kind of hoping it would like give a little retail pop, swipe the bids, maybe throw some bid stacks on the book map and then rotate it back up. But it just kind of went straight up, and then and this was very similar to a long I did, I think on it was either RGLS or CLRO. It was on that day where I kind of longed into the lower high breakout, and this is I only do this if A, it's near market open, and B, there's some type of chart paint and volume to make me think it's has a good chance of having this follow up. I think it was on CLRO where I gave one of these longs, and it's the same bookmap signal where the stock was hitting 1.5 repeatedly, and then right before they initiate it, they like to throw a bids on the book. They'll pull up like two or three layers of bids to essentially force the liquidity move. A thing about that is a lot of times on these forced liquidity moves, once they reach their liquidity target, which is high day, um, if there's no more bid follow up, or if the book starts to get really bearish, like if you start to get a bunch of ass coming in, shoving things down, um, then the stock could be topping or potentially topping very soon. And I actually got out the rest here based on another bookmap signal. They threw up two 50,000 share ask at this 940 mark to kind of shove the stock downwards through these bids. Now, we got this quick dump pattern, and then it caught the 1 minute 50. So it catches the 1 minute 50 EMA. Um, but since I'm much more bearish today, because first of all, when I woke up and got online, the top gapper was 35%. I was like, wow. And then not only that, a lot of places like WIMI and APM, there's a lot of these in AUUD. There's all these plays that the volume was very unimpressive. Like we did not have um, any super consistent, strong pre-market runner. Um, and the market is always going to eventually shift back to weakness, and I think this was kind of the lower gapping percentages, the lower pre-market volume, the fact that it wasn't like any consistent high volume, pre-market runner really really squeezing made me think today could be a weaker day. So I decided to try the fake 5 minute flag pattern, which is very simply you get a liquidity squeeze, right? The pre-market squeeze. You get a pullback to the 1 minute 50, and then you get some type of bullish push. And this was actually really nice because at 1.6 here, there is this ask. There's this huge ask kind of holding. It was actually the same ask that shoved this stock down over here. And what a lot of times what these market makers like to do is they like to throw up a really big ask at a painted level. They fill the ask and then they pull the stock, right? They're trying to essentially generate the liquidity, and this happens with bids too. It's going to happen with bids on at key MAs. You'll see huge bids get filled and then they initiate it to the upside. So this works both ways on the book. But in this case, I was like, oh, this could be a nice fake 5 minute flag. I loved how a lot of times I like when you get these aggressive liquidity moves past a key level. You could see how up only this was from market open. A lot of times there's really not a lot of support levels to support the stock. Um, and it's a potentially bearish factor, right? So we broke 1.6 here. Um, and if you look at the book here, there was zero bids on this push. When it broke 1.6 on this fake 5-minute flag entry, there's no bids on the book, and it instantly knifed. So that's exactly how the pattern's supposed to work. I took a little bit off, pretty much at 10%, because the range on this was not great. This had relatively low range, which is why I started taking profits here and here, just because, um, like at these covers down here, the stock was only up 25% on the day. Like this, it had a nice long and short pattern. It's just kind of range bound, and I tend to get more aggressive on my covers. So here is the market open volume. Here's the big push. And this is exactly what I mean. This is where I went long. I went long into this 150 area getting broken right here. You could see them. It's testing 150. It's testing 150. It's testing it. And then they start to throw up bids to force the stock go up. But as you see, what's potentially bearish is there are bids down here, but there's no bids following this up. Now, bids could come in, and I saw this bid come in. I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe I just get more. I'll keep holding on to my long. I'll get more continuation. But then not only did these asks come in, these were the asks that I got out on. Like, this was already not good. And the fact that there's really only one bidder here is not the best, especially because my average is right here, right? So I have to be very proactive in how I get out. And then you could see these numbers here. They threw up a 40K ask and a 50K ask along with all of these guys. And I'm just like, I just got out when I saw it immediately start dumping, and I just got out right away, which was beneficial because it got me ready for. We'll zoom in here. Here's the 1 minute 50. So quick up to the 1 minute 50, bounces. We get this painted 1.6 level. You could see it clear as day, and then we could see the 1.6 level get broken here, right? So here's this 55K ask. They fill the whole thing with no bid following it up, which is why, so I'm shorting up here, and this is why you get this quick knife move, right? Because it's a long trap pattern where the market maker is filling their ask with no bid following up, and they dump it, right? So and just given the weaker market conditions today, I was like, you know what, it was really choppy down here. There's a lot of bids kind of holding the stock up. But yeah, I just took some off at the first little knife, the 1 minute 200, and then lower day getting broken, and I just got out. So that was that play. And then what do you call it? We had PBM, right? So let's go open up this stock. Just do a quick little double, or APM, sorry. So I missed 2 trades on this. One was the big brain market open long, right? If you go to my Discord, I actually talked a lot about how these quick pre-market pop and dumps can be really strong. Like, you get a stock that pops in a pre-market and pretty much dumps with zero consolidation, right? This creates a lot of empty space right here to rotate into. And it's also bullish because a lot of times it's opening on stock is only up 20-30%. It has a lot of room to push to the upside, right? Like low gapping percentage is a bullish factor if paired with other things. And then the market, I called this right out in my Discord right away, was the market open volume. It traded 230K, then 350K, and then it hit VWAP and rejected VWAP, which a lot of times when VWAP on market open is used as fake resistance. I call it fake VWAP resistance. It's to trick people into thinking VWAP's like a really strong resistance level, which is a pretty common retail resistance level to short into. In reality, it's really strong. And actually what happened there is it was on like a 440K candle. but I was too busy trading WIMI. But here's the VWAP right here. They dump it into these 6 bids with no ask following it down. They put up a new bid and they initiated the stock. So the entry is you wait for it to reject VWAP into some bids and you long into the bids. And at market open, a lot of times you have to long almost right away. Right? It's the closer to market open you are, the faster these types of reactions happen. So you have to kind of really be on your toes. I thought about buying the dip here. I saw this break through 650 and it dipped momentarily back towards 630, and I thought about just getting in and risking these bids. And I just hesitated. It up halted again, and now we get into the structure up here. And I thought this could actually be quite strong because, APM on the daily, it's kind of like doing a backside squeeze on the daily, which can be strong. When you get these kind of like down only stocks on the daily, you could get really aggressive pushes. And I was kind of keeping that in mind. So I didn't even have shares located. I was just kind of really mad that I missed the long. Here's the VWAP reject. Here's the dip back to $6, and I rip it. But yeah, this high day clear out was really interesting. There's a lot of bearish factors leading into this high day clear out. Painted higher lows is a bearish factor. Also, it never really broke above like 1 million per minute, which is a little weaker than what we've been seeing, even though it is an $8 stock. So that's something to keep in mind. And then, I wanted to show you the book map. And it did a little trick we see on high day clearouts, but I wasn't really expecting this to happen. But they did the little, they painted a high day clear out. They fill up all the ask on the way up with 0 bid follow up, and they pulled it, right? But let's talk about the backside clear out, which is kind of the point of this video. This is the reason my VWAP ends here is because I edited this candle. This candle did not reach $8, by the way. On your broker, it might show that this candle reached 8.1. That was a single order. It actually, and if you look at the book, you can actually see that it was a single order because you'll see on this push right here, it did not break $8 is this ask right here. It did not break $8. But yeah, we'll go over this book, but we'll go over the chart first because you kind of look at the chart first. So there's a few bearish factors working in your favor here. One bearish factor is it already did an up-only liquidity squeeze at market open, right? The second bearish factor is I really like these, especially as you start getting towards like an hour and a half, 2 hour, 3 hour long, low volume soaking. Like the way a lot of backside squeezes work is, you get down to the bottom of the range, right? And you have this like hour and a half to 3 hour long, super low volume soaking. And in my mind, what they're doing is they're trying to generate enough liquidity in the stock to do a backside short squeeze and then pull it, right? So, and then this had other bearish factors. We had higher lows, so higher low, higher low, higher low, higher, painted higher lows. It makes the crack that much stronger, right? When this trend line gets broken, you have higher lows into the liquidity move. It comes back towards the trend line and it cracks, right? So that's the classic pattern, right? The other thing is we have all these shorts chasing this. Look how aggressive. Anytime you get these aggressive dump moves, like this went from 8.9 down to 6.5, that creates a lot of empty space to rotate back into, swipe out the backside short, especially the ones chasing on their VWAP, right? So, we have a lower high, we have a lower high, lower high. We have all these painted lower highs. We have VWAP, and we have $8. So those are all the liquidity targets. And I really wanted to wait for 8 to get broken because if we look at the book, this is where VWAP got broken. So VWAP gets broken, and we have a lot of empty space up to 8. And I know on backside clearouts, what they like to do is they like to fill that ask and then pull it, right? So I was looking at this $8 ask. I was like, that might be a good level. They actually threw a bid here to initiate the stock, but there's really no additional bid follow up on that. And they did a classic little trick where they filled this ask. There's like 30,000 shares. Pushed it a little bit, brought it back down, and then restacked the ask an additional 20,000 shares. And that's very bearish given the structure, given, the hour and a half long low volume soak, the fact that they swiped that liquidity target, that higher low paint, today was a weaker market, the fact that it already squeezed the market open, the fact that today was weaker, um, and it just became a nice little pattern. So my two biggest trades today were both shorts, which feels like that's the first time in like a month where that happened. It's been a lot of longs, but that's because when we had a lot of strength, the pre-market and market open longs are just easier to read, in my opinion. So, and then when you get kind of into a lower liquidity environment where stocks have to soak for long periods of time and paint backside levels, and you start getting super bearish looking books where you start to get big asks getting filled at key levels, and then the stock has no bids, and then they start to pull it. It's just easier to read, right? I didn't get the high day clear out, but I did get this trade. And as you see, it's down only because of they succeeded in their backside squeeze, and you got these higher lows who are getting stopped out now. So that's what causes, that's why when you short these pops here, it keeps chopping around because, like, especially when you get to the midday, when you get to this like post 10 a.m. volume, patterns. This is how long patterns take. And sometimes they will go straight down only, and I missed out on a ton of plays this year. I feel like this entire year I missed out on a ton of plays. But a lot of that is because I'm waiting for patterns like this to happen, right? So, and luckily, you can develop, a long playbook based on a lot of the bullish factors and the book map reads and kind of the chart paint that I go over in these videos. And you can have a balanced approach to trading. Anyway, that's APM and what's the other ticker? God, my memory sucks nowadays. Don't short PVN. This is a choppy WIMI. There we go. Sadly, it's incredibly range bound. Obviously, it went from 1.1 to 1.68. It's not like the biggest range, but nice bullish open, and then pretty much bearish everything else. And because the range kind of sucks, it's going sideways. I mean, it broke low day, and the volume went to zero, and now it's just chopping around. You can't do anything. Maybe this goes on a push tomorrow or something. We'll see. Kind of riding the 1 minute, the 1 hour 9 EMA right here. So who knows? So anyways, that's the video for today. Information down below about the Discord, and you guys have a good one. See ya.